Side note, background gameplay, first time sniping in forever. Did pretty good. Proud of myself. But besides that, I'm probably gonna make the title of whatever something crazy. But it's just true. It shouldn't have happened, and it didn't happen. Nothing went anywhere, and that's probably for the best. But I still can't help but feel the way I feel. It was like 7, 8 years ago at this point. I was on Tinder. Now you're probably asking, wait a minute, how old is this guy? I was 15. Now I know that is crazy. 15 on Tinder. Absolutely insane. I shouldn't have been on there. And this is what happens when, you just have unrestricted access to shit. It just happens. But I was on Tinder and I started talking to a woman. Now, obviously, I am not going to say this woman's name for obvious reasons. But I was talking to her on there. And I had told her that I was 18. The classic story of, except this time the roles are reversed. The woman is grown and the male is the child, whatever. So I'm talking to her, and it gets to a point to where every single day, me and her are talking to each other through text. Then eventually, I'm like, hey, do you want to talk on the phone? So now, she's at her job. By the way, it's summer vacation for me. She's at her job. We got to a point to where every time she went on break, she would call me. Even if we didn't talk during that day or whatever, and I was like fucking asleep on the couch or whatever, she would call me on break, and we would just talk to each other. Because to her, I guess she thought she was talking to a guy and it was going somewhere, we're getting to know each other, getting closer and all that. When in reality, nothing was gonna happen because I'm fucking 15 years old. And she was like, what, 21 at the time, I think? 20, 21. So I thought I was going crazy. I was moving different. And was just ecstatic. Happy as fuck that I was talking to somebody like this. And after like a month or two of talking to each other, she eventually tells me, hey, do you want to hang out? Now, immediately, I started fucking freaking out because I was like, oh my god, she's going to see through my lie. But I said yes anyway. So, she drives, I don't even remember where she lived, but she drove like 20, 30 minutes to a spot that I picked because obviously I'm not having her come over to my house. And I can't go over to her house for obvious fucking reasons. So I have her come over to a spot that I picked. And she pulls up in her car. And we go and sit down and we're just talking, hanging out and all that. Of course, I left out some details of freaky DMs and bullshit and saying things that was gonna happen whenever we hung out with each other. That obviously didn't happen. Because one, I'm underage, and two, I am a bitch. So I made no moves at all towards this woman, and she didn't make any towards me, so nothing happened. Which, like I said, at the time, I was like, I should have did this, but looking back on it, I'm glad it didn't happen for my sake, and especially for hers, because that could have been really bad for her. But after being at the park, she goes home, and I go home, and then it's a normal day, we talk, whatever, and then that's it. And then after that, I go to text her, she doesn't respond. The next day, I go to text her again, she doesn't respond. And then it went on like that for a little bit. Until I finally just accepted my L and realized that I'm never gonna talk to this person again. Whether it's because of what happened at the park, or what didn't happen at the park, or she found out that I was like 15, 16, whatever. Either way, I haven't spoken to her since. And then I haven't thought about her for a while. But as of recently, even though I have a new Instagram that I didn't text her on, I have another account on Instagram, which is one that I had a whole bunch of shit happen on, and that account on IG is the one that I use to talk to her. On the one that I'm using now, obviously I'd never spoken to her because this one I made in like 2023, 2024. But her account popped up in a people you may know tab. And ever since I saw it, I saw her and remembered everything that happened. I just can't stop thinking about it. Because it was like 3 months, a month, 3 months straight of just talking to her every single day. That was my life for basically the whole summer, was her. Talking to her that entire time. And I can't do that anymore. Even if I attempted to reach out, do you know how weird that's gonna be? To be like, hey man, do you remember me? I was the guy you talked to like 8 years ago who was actually a kid. And you were an adult, but you know, we still talk to each other. No, that can't happen. Yeah, I'm an adult now, I'm fucking 22. But bro, it doesn't matter. It's still weird. And even then, even if somehow it was like okay to do that, she hasn't posted since 2022. So I'm pretty sure she doesn't even use Instagram anymore. And I obviously don't have her phone number anymore because that was fucking 7 years ago. I've had 2 phones since then. I don't know anything about that anymore. And it's just like, fuck. I can feel however I want to feel, yeah, sure. But it's like, bro, I can never speak to her again. I can never speak to her again. And it just sucks. It sucks, it really does suck. But what can I do? There's nothing I can do about it. Enjoy the rest of the footage.
Hostiles have the hard point. Hard point locked down. Enemy CUAV established overhead.
Oh, what are y'all doing?
Hard point contested.
Eyes in the sky.
Hard point located.
Looking glass on your grid. Enemy radars. Charlie Foxtrot.
We control the hard point. Enemy UAV detected. Hard point is active. Hostile UAV above.
Counter UAV fuel 50% check.
Hostile personnel have captured the hard point.
UAV terminated. Counter UAV returning to base.
Contesting hard point. Hostile UAV established above. Hardpoint contested. Hardpoint locked down. Hostiles have the hardpoint. We control the hardpoint. Contesting hardpoint. Hardpoint locked down. Hardpoint identified. Hardpoint contested. Active. Hostile personnel have captured the hardpoint. Enemy UAV detected. Enemy care package detected overhead. Contesting hardpoint.
He jumps over.
We control the hardpoint.
Nice.
UAV fuel check 50%. No fuel, no fuel. UAV on CP.
Hardpoint contested. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Contesting hardpoint. Hostile UAV established above. Hardpoint located. Hardpoint locked down.
Counter UAV above. Electronic countermeasures active. UAV in the TAS. Reporting hostile contact.
Hardpoint is active. We control the hardpoint.
Watchdog Hilo fueled and standing by.
Hardpoint contested.
CUAV MTC 50% expended.
Hostile personnel have captured the hardpoint.
UAV mission time clock 50%.
Contesting hardpoint.
We are bingo fuel. Looking glass is leaving the AO.
Performance is trending below acceptable thresholds.
Mission timeline over. UAV exiting the area.
Enemy UAV detected. Hardpoint locked down. Hardpoint contested.
Hostiles have neutralized your Watchdog Hilo.
Hostiles have the hardpoint. We control the hardpoint.
Your Watchdog Hilo has been eliminated.
Contesting hardpoint. Hardpoint contested. Net call. Napalm strike inbound. Hostile personnel have captured the hardpoint. Contesting hardpoint. Hardpoint contested. Hardpoint active. Hardpoint locked down. Hostile UAV established above. Contesting hardpoint. Hardpoint contested. Enemy CUAV established overhead. Contesting hardpoint. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Enemy UAV detected. We control the hardpoint. Hardpoint contested. Hardpoint locked down. Hostile personnel have captured the hardpoint. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hardpoint identified. We control the hardpoint. Hardpoint is active. Hostile personnel have captured the hardpoint. Testing hardpoint. Hardpoint contested. Hardpoint locked down. Contesting hardpoint. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hostile counter UAV above. Hardpoint contested. We control the hardpoint.
Ordering viewer launch.
Come on, fuck.
Hostile personnel have captured the hardpoint. Contesting hardpoint.